when the bull market is active, majority of us will make some profits. You would have made some too. While the price of an asset is moving up, you grab some and then you take some profit when you see some gains. But for me, I will actually say that looking at different time scenarios of an asset is really important. I will say profits does happen and that does matter, but it is based on where you have positioned your portfolio and how the price reaches your targets. Yes, if the price is reaching your targets based on your patterns, then that trend is valid and you can continue using that. Price fluctuations and the assets on which you have invested and your targets is among the most important thing which you have to consider. What can you actually see in BTC right now? Okay, now as an XRP investor, looking at XRP chart, what do you see here or what can you understand? If you look at the same asset from a different viewpoint, you can actually see something different. So the same asset, that's XRP, from a different angle, you see a different scenario playing out. But your ability to look at that asset and to learn and execute trades based on price action, patterns and trends will guide you further in this journey of investing, because these clearly shows what you understand and how much profits you are gonna make. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. When you look at the regular market, you see price fluctuation, bull market, everything going up. Now there is a huge narrative being set, and that is not set by small companies or something which doesn't actually care. These are huge institutions and supranational organizations, and they point you towards the future. Now the simple question is, can you actually see this future and try to learn what it actually is going to be? If you can, then you are a successful investor. Not in the short term, because your portfolio won't let you think that. But in a medium to long run, you would definitely be that serious investor. Now, question again comes back to, do you understand what the market is? Do you want to be a short-term trader or a long-term investor? Are you serious about investing? Then you should start educating yourself. Widen your knowledge levels to that level where you can see how these are lining up. When the narrative is being set out there, say this particular tweet from Michael highlights, digital currency offered by China's central bank does not carry transaction fees. So they are also comparing it with Alipay, WeChat Pay and other payment options present currently in China. So do you recognize something in these? One, most of them are talking about sustainable payments, the future, right? So in that sustainability, they are considering a lot of scalability in cross-border payments, and then even inside that domestic payments infrastructure, they are considering without fees. So near zero cost or zero cost payments are important. Even if you want to compete, you need to be providing that. So one, it should be scalable. Second, it should be near zero cost. So now if you go, we can actually say, okay, Swift is charging you 5 to 6%. Okay, that's high. Now, when you have a bull market, go to different assets which you trade and then try sending it out. You will see how much it costs. You can do the same on BTC, Ether, or whichever asset you want, and then see how much it actually costs you. Say whether it's reasonable or not. And that is what you have to look at, because at the end of the day, as an investor, you are looking at the fundamentals, right? There will be a point at which Normal guys will say, okay, now the price is going up, I do agree that, but the fee for that transaction is huge and this is not going to survive. Now, even after that, the price may go up 5, 10, 15, 20%. But most of the investors will go out. Only those who chase the market, just seeing the price and profits, will get towards the top, and sometimes or mostly they will get stuck there. And that's what you have to avoid. Say now you look at BTC here. BTC chart provide you a different scenario. Say here at first you see something similar, 8%, then another 8%. So here when you see the 17% correction, what do you actually think? Now yeah, we actually came back below 30,000 for a short time. Now if we are making a new high, then you should be looking at another 17% drop based on recent price fluctuation on BTC. Now why is that important? Because when BTC corrects, other assets are also being hammered. You have to understand, when you look at the price right now for Ether, it's back about 1,000. But it went down towards 900. Now if you consider that's a 10% drop. So when we actually dropped, it was like 11 to 12% drop. And in a bull market, it's always buy the dip. Those who trade in even a medium term make profit in a bull market, buying and holding for medium term. Now, that's all general aspect for the altcoin market. Because if you look at the market, you have a lot of opportunities. If you just look at the return rates for last week, 30 days, a quarter, you can see a hell lot of opportunities way there. Now, those who are following me from at least 1 year can reflect to these numbers and say which assets I highlighted to you guys, or at least for those who are in the Patreon group knows exactly. Say for example, LTC, DOT, Stellar. Recently for Stellar, I popped out before it popped out that 20%. I highlighted them that this is going to happen. Now yes, some disagreed, some agreed, but those who agreed took that profits out, and some of them moved that back into XRP, increased their portfolio. Now when you look at these coins, you have hundreds and thousands of coins. Not every one of them will be performing similarly. You have to understand their market cycle, where they are in and how they will be moving. For that, the trend analysis, pattern analysis and time series analysis is useful. When you combine all of this, you get a bit more clarity about what that asset is going to do. And that's what we actually do in the Patreon group for a variety of assets. If you would like to get that kind of a leverage for your portfolio, you can actually check out the Patreon group. Link is in the description. Now, if you only have XRP, I again highlight, you don't actually have to enter there. I try to give most of that information here, but that's one time a day. If you are in the Patreon group, whenever I see some kind of change in the price, I update you guys what I see and what I do. So when there is an opportunity, I highlight you. And when I take out or close these positions, I do highlight those as well. Now, while looking at these, what should you understand, right? We saw that BTC is going up, the trend is way up. Most of the coins are moving to the upside. But our beloved XRP is not doing that fine when you look at a quarter, 30 days, 7 days. It's not doing that fine. So while comparing it with other assets, most are tempted to jump out. I will say don't do that. Personally, I'm not doing that. I'm not a financial advisor. But based on what I have seen, what I have gone through in this market, I will say you want to hold, you can hold. Instead of buying more, you can actually trade different assets, make more profits, and stay happy. Because patience is the best thing you need in investing, along with your ability to do TA and fundamental analysis. Now, when you look at this, this is an Adam and Eve pattern. We highlighted, we tried breaking above, but that was a fake out. The moving average, which is the 50-day moving average, acted as a resistance, and we are still below that. Now, when you actually look at the price, on our longer term scenario, because the first one I showed you here is 4-hour chart. Now here, yes, you do see that the RSI has crossed to the upside and it's kind of bouncing. That's a little bit bullish there, and the pattern here itself is bullish. Then the MACD is on the negative territory, right? So when the MACD move into a positive territory on the 4-hour chart, it's going to be bullish. That's what I personally expect. Then you look at long-term scenario. That's a daily chart for XRP. Now on the daily chart, you actually see that the price broke below the support. We came back towards that. We retested that. We haven't broke above that yet. But currently it shows like it's being rejected. Now that's on the price terms. Now you look at the indicators, say RSI, it is showing you a textbook double bottom. Then the MACD, it showed one time it was trying to cross, it couldn't, and it was in the positive territory. It dropped, and that drop was heavy. Then it dropped towards the bottom. Now it's slowly rounding up. So when do you actually buy? Looking at the previous scenarios, when it is rounding up. So that's what I do. Now if it breaks above this one, say around 0.26, 0.27, then it's again back in the trading range and the door is open towards 0.6. Because when other coins are running, it's really hard to stay in an asset which is slowing down. But when it starts pumping, others will move back in. Say you went to Ether, LTC, ZIL, Cardano, IOTA, ICX, or any other asset. When XRP starts pumping, your heartbeat increase and you will jump back in. Now, on a price action scenario, when you look at this, you see a hammer pattern here. Now, yes, that's not a completely bullish candle, but still you had a long wick in that hammer. Now, yes, hammer, inverter hammer, and all other things are important, but it's also important where in that channel you are getting. Meaning the channel in the sense, the support resistance channels. Now, I personally use that to understand how the market is reacting. So right now, the price is at a support level and it's showing you a hammer, then an inverted hammer. What does it mean? So most guys were like, okay, hammer is like we are going to go up, inverted hammer we are going to do down. No, don't get confused. Say when you see a hammer here followed by a bullish candle giving you an inverted hammer, it shows you that pressure of buying and the price moved to the upside. Now if you have doubt, you can see this is the hammer pattern. So at the bottom of a trend, when you were moving to the downside, you got an inverted hammer here which showed you there is still buyers out there, and then the price went down. It showed you that hammer and it started way back, so it moved back up. Now if you want to confirm that, you can see that inverted hammer at the bottom or the support level of a bearish trend turns into a bullish scenario. It moves to the upside. The same if it's happening at the top, it's a hammer or a shooting star. So now you come back and look at where this is playing out. It's happening at a support level, that to a long-term support level. When you look back all the way towards late 2019, this level is intact as a support resistance zone. So these are indicators that buying strength or the bulls are gathering in XRP. Now, there would be short-term fluctuations when you look at the price. If you go into a smaller time frame charts, you would be looking at different price fluctuations. So I'll just delete all of these indicators so the price fluctuation is clear for you. Now the 50-day moving average has to be crossed. We are still below that. Once we do that, it's going to be bullish. Now that was on a daily scenario. Now you come back on a weekly and look at the RSI and the MACD. Now if you want to zoom in on your RSI, this is what you actually get. The RSI is slowly rounding. Look back. Whenever you saw this, what happened after that? What happened after that? Hope you can see both of these times. And this is happening in the same trend. Just that this time it's starting below this trend line. Now, if it is actually going back towards the top of this particular trending pattern, which is moving like this, then the room towards the upside is much more. So when XRP runs, it always runs hard. This time the difference is majority are left out because they panic sold. Majority of the exchanges are still coming out and saying, okay, we are worried, so we are going to halt or delist XRP trading. Guys, when the sun is high in the sky, you can say there is no ghost. So in the similar term, when the price is at the bottom, you can say, no, this asset is not cool. But eventually, when the price clears that supply level, which on the 1st of this month you got supply, and then it went back to the escrow, the unused XRPs went back into the escrow. So the supply is being swept, and then once the supply is dried and the demand is same. Now remember, you don't need demand like what you needed previously when XRP was being traded on thousands of exchanges. Now, not thousands, it was hundreds. Now, when exchanges are delisting, the confidence of investors, mainly retail investors, are going down. But for those who understand the scenario, when they see different stuff being played out, say Stellar is highlighting this thing. Ukrainian Ministry of Digital Transformation to develop virtual assets to facilitate central bank digital currency infrastructure on Stellar Development Foundation. Look, it's something similar towards XRP and it's being adopted. Now, if it's based on SEC, you will understand there is something wrong, right? SEC says it's a security. XLM looks similar and it's being adopted by other nations. Now, the tweet from Miss Dangerous XRP highlights the volume. Again, if it's a glitch, how much more glitch you have to see in XRP in terms of price and volume. Now, why do you actually see these kind of stuff? You'll get answers if you just move around and see what really is happening, right? This tweet from Ariel highlighting towards the XRP mantra tweet here. When you go towards this and read it, you will definitely understand that what is happening is all kind of planned. Now, whether you feel it as a conspiracy or not, that doesn't care, because the reality is always there. Interested in environmentally conscious payments? Learn about sustainability in fintech. Okay, now when you come back, you look at this, compare it with the IMF tweet. So when IMF is talking with Ripple, IMF itself is highlighting the name Ripple, you can believe what they are pointing towards. If you still don't, look back at the history, you have certain things there. Back in June, you got this one from Forbes, right? XRP isn't a security, declares former CFTC chairman, but afterwards you got the confirmation that yeah, it's a security. And why? From XRP patients or XR patients, he highlights this cycle here, and that looks valid because at the bottom you get institutions buying XRP. Institutional investors always follow certain rules. If they are buying this asset, increasing the holding on this asset, remember what they are looking at. And then I kind of reach with Kevin Cage. Now, do remember he's highlighting it from current price range of 20 cents. Whereas the bottom of this cycle was around 0.12, 0.13, and majority of us has the average below 0.2. So for those individuals who hold XRP below this, the return on investment would be much higher. And those who are averaging down towards 0.23, which is the price now, will get similar price fluctuations. Now, do understand there are exchanges delisting, but there are still exchanges who are not doing that. So during the time of difficulties, you understand which exchanges are doing what, and when the price goes up, you can choose to select which asset you move into. Now, if XRP is being deemed as a security by SEC, it's still going to put pressure on the price of the asset. because these are all happening at a time when the health crisis is coming out, another wave, the world is going for another sort of lockdown, the world is being closed out, and even the China is highlighting this. If you're not efficient, prepare to close. Now, why is that important? There is a lot of stuff which is happening around you. Now, when you go through, I actually saw a tweet from Thinking Crypto highlighting that you are going to get a lot more information from him on this day. Thinking Crypto is going to have an interview with Greg. So this interview is something which you should not be missing. You are going to get a lot of value from that because they would be talking about this current issue of XRP. Basically, when you go back and look at what is happening in the last week or so, you will understand how these exchanges are moving. Now, if it is being deemed as a security, then exchanges are going to have a lot of issues too. They've been giving their customers this asset to trade, and right now it's being deemed as security. So they are going to face a lot of lawsuits as well. Now, the exchanges will have their own burden to highlight why they did that. One of that is XRP was not a security. And the same statement, for them would be highlighting it from this one, right? Not only this, if you look back in history and how that asset is being deemed, they will allow their investors to get onto that. Now, being a trader or an investor looking at the general market, which is gaining momentum in this bull run, you would actually like to see what's going to happen with your portfolio if you have a wide variety of assets. And if you do, always follow your positions in each asset. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to manage your portfolio. If you need guidance or a little bit of support for your portfolio, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description. That will support not only XRP, all the different assets in your portfolio. Because when the price is fluctuating, emotions always kicks in. And unless you have the correct pattern or the validation of the trend, it's going to be hard on your portfolio. So don't take decisions when you're in a bad mood. Keep out your emotions, look at the price, patterns and what it is showing you, and then decide. Because you can either make this as Adam and Eve, or in the shorter time span, when you look at this, you can actually make this a cup and handle too. But both of them being bullish. So guys, I hope you received value for your time, and if you really did, please do support the channel. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done that already. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.